The team from TeddySwap joined me on this interview. I have Frosty, who is also the lead on Aneta BTC. I have Marty from the Ergo ecosystem in charge of ErgoPad and Padilla, and also Mikkel, who is in charge of Harmonic Labs, who built PluTS, a brand new smart contract language for Cardano to make it a lot easier to develop smart contracts using TypeScript. Really, really cool. Now they're bringing all their expertise together to build up TeddySwap, a stablecoin focused decentralized exchange on Cardano. And it's a really, really interesting platform. Everything from decentralized batches to the FISO, the Fair Initial Stake offering, and also their Teddy Bear Club, which is the NFT token sale that they're doing to help fund the project and give everyone in the community a chance to get some of these Teddy tokens as well. Oh, we also talk about the name, the whole teddy bear thing, and where it all came from and the idea behind it too. It's an interesting tidbit. All right, let's get into this interview.
Crypto's the future, really, it ain't no debate.
So in regards to TeddySwap, it's another decentralized exchange, but there's a slight twist to it. So can we get an explanation about what the platform is and why you guys have decided to build it?
One thing we noticed about Cardano and the DEX is available is a lot of them are kind of dealing with some closed source code. So we wanted to come in and be fully open source, make sure that the community can run batchers, and provide that opportunity for everyone to get involved, so that it's not just a closed source DEX that the community doesn't feel that they have some kind of ownership in. And the second thing was that there's a bunch of new stablecoins coming to Cardano, and we wanted there to be an opportunity for people to trade them without being hit by a ton of impermanent loss for liquidity providers or being hit with a lot of slippage. So if you go the way that a DEX works is typically if you have two trading pairs and a lot of people trade from one side, then it changes the price. And definitely you don't want that on what's meant to be a stable coin. So we're trying to focus on stable coins and stable swaps so that they stay nice and even and everything stays stable.
So you said a couple of really interesting things there, and the first off was the whole open sourceness of the platform and the code. And I have seen a lot of the code commits and activity quite actively through the development of the platform. It seems like it came out of nowhere, really, and you guys just went really crazy with building it. Can you tell me a little bit about the approach? I'm assuming, Mikkel, because you're here, it's done with PluTS in TypeScript and all that. So can we talk about the approach and the development there?
Yeah, absolutely. So the development team is mainly me taking care of the on-chain, and by me, I mean Harmonic Laboratories. And then there is the Clark's company, which is Saib. I'm not sure about the pronunciation, which is taking care about all the off-chain. So all the awesome work on the badger is being done by Clark, which couldn't make it here. And as for now, most of those commits that you see around are his job, as the off-chain is a much bigger code base. Also, the last commits overshoot in with the number because we are updating the documentation. And then there is also, of course, all the on-chain, which, as you said, being written using PluTS, which is also thanks to this project evolving a lot, improving the efficiency of the contracts. All this will also benefit how the end protocol of TeddySwap will work, both for V1, the actual contracts used will be the Spectrum ones for the swaps. So those are written in Plutarch, but the version and in version 1, yield contracts instead will already be written using PluTS, which are the one where you take your LP tokens, you stake them, and then you can receive additional rewards in Teddy, in our case. Those will be written in PluTS. Whereas then there will be, and this is already planned, an upgrade to version 2, which will be the one that supports the stable invariant formula. And that one, at that point, the entire protocol will be using PluTS on the on-chain.
Very cool. We'll talk about this new formula and the V2 in a moment as well. But I'd just like to step back and talk about the batches as well, because this is one thing that really caught my attention at the moment in the Cardano ecosystem. A lot of the platforms, the batches that process the transactions that come through are all closed source, or there's a select group of people that are using or allowed to run the batcher system at the moment. So I'd like to talk about why that is and why you guys are going for the complete open approach and allowing anyone to be a batcher.
The main point for why you want the standard we saw arose in the Cardano DEX scenario is that they are going with closed batching, and this is mainly for we can say a security reason, because when you have closed batching, you know who is processing transactions and how they are processing them, and especially the order in which they are processing transactions. So and this is very well explained in an article at the beginning as from SunderSwap. They were explaining the alternatives they considered for batching, and open batching was between these alternatives. And they recognized in the article also that it is effectively a better option for decentralization, but they didn't go with it because it is open to sandwich attacks, so front running and all those issues. We wanted to give it a shot, and in order to and since we know that there are, of course, in this case there is the vulnerability of the possibility of malicious actor to run a batcher and then front running some orders. We are adding on top of the basic open batching model a fee market, so that the batcher is actually incentivized to respect the order of swaps, meaning that these swaps are ordered based on the fee that goes to the batcher. So the higher the fee, the more incentive there is to the batcher actually to act as intended, because at a certain point it will be more convenient to actually, even if you are a malicious actor, it will be more convenient to respect the fee for you to get the fee instead of front running the order. And also on top of this fee market implemented, the more the batchers, the less the possibility that a malicious batcher it is selected. So it is actually really important that as many people as possible will run the batchers, so that to lower the risk of these kind of attacks, which was the main reason of why other DEXs are not going with this model.
Very cool. Okay, so as many batches as possible to reduce the a front runner being selected, being processed batches, and then the fee market. That's a very interesting mechanism on top of it. We're not really used to fee markets in the Cardano ecosystem, so it's going to be a little bit different for people, I think.
Definitely different. It is something implemented on top, so it's all handled off chain by the batchers. It is not something implemented in the protocol, but from my point of view, it is a great opportunity to allow anyone to join actually and maintain the protocol.
And everything really goes back to open source code, and we're very grateful to Spectrum Finance who put a lot of that code out there, and it allowed us to very quickly implement what they built and then start building on top of that. And there's a lot of reasons that we hope other projects in the community outside of us and Spectrum continue to take that route. One, it limits security risks, because even with Spectrum's code, we were able to look at that and really try to pick apart, okay, is everything as secure as it can be? And we haven't found any security exploits to our knowledge. And then we can take that code and quickly implement the new contracts. Like as Michelle was saying, we have the yield farming contracts that are being built with the smart contract framework that he created, which is all going to be entirely open source. And we were able to take their batching solution and have really strong documentation for it. So now anyone with a decent technical background can now reproduce that. And lastly, with everything going on in the world right now, we have Silicon Valley Bank, and we have these constant reminders of these centralized entities. I think one of the most important reasons is the ability to easily replicate these tools. And in this case, it's a decentralized exchange. But the biggest thing is that, even tomorrow, if the Spectrum team is no longer able to work, or if tomorrow the TeddySwap team is not able to work, anyone can come along and access this code and get it up and running on the Cardano blockchain. So that's sort of our approach, and we're going to keep making open source tools to make it accessible to everyone.
I think it's really advantageous there that you guys have been working over on the Ergo ecosystem as well, and you could reach out and work with Spectrum's code base there to be able to bring some of those aspects over. So I think that's a really, really good extra edge that you guys had.
Yeah, I agree. I think that's a big thing for us. And I think the other big edge that we have is what Marty was hinting at earlier, which is really attacking the stablecoin market. There's already millions of dollars of liquidity on Cardano and stablecoins. And throughout the next 6 months, year, 3 years, 5 years, the stablecoin market looks like it's set to explode. So hopefully we'll be the home for stablecoins, and we'll be ready when the huge explosion of liquidity comes over to Cardano.
Now, I think this is pretty good in that some other projects such as Cardano, who was focusing on stable coins itself, unfortunately they folded. But there's a project here to try and fill the gap there, and provide a stablecoin focused DEX so people can swap and whatnot through the ecosystem. Now, Marty, you said something a little bit earlier around the reduction of impermanent loss through this.
I'll let Michele give you guys more details, but just to touch on that, maybe I'll give a quick overview for people who aren't familiar. When you provide liquidity to a DEX that uses the typical formula, impermanent loss can take place when the price of one token moves in a direction away from the price of the other token. So, let's say you put $100 worth of ADA and $100 worth of USDA or some kind of stable coin. If ADA changes in price drastically, but the stable coin stays stable, you will suffer losses, because when you remove your liquidity, you won't have the same overall value as what you put in. So we recalculate that using a different invariant. And what that's meant to do is keep the values close in terms of their values to their natural value, related to other coins. And that way, when you remove your liquidity, you haven't lost any overall value for your overall tokens.
So I can touch on the technical side of it. As Marty was saying, when we swap on a regular DEX, and when we say a regular DEX, we usually mean a Uniswap style DEX. We are subject to slippage and impermanent loss if we are providing liquidity, because of the movement of the price. Of course, that is the whole point. But due to how the formula, the constant formula works, there is some sort of inefficiency, we can call it that way, if compared to the stable invariant for stables, of course, due to how the price changes. So the price to which you swap two tokens, you have a price A, which is the starting point. That starting point is usually the one you see on the website before doing the swap. There is a price B, which is another point over the curve, if you ever saw the graph, which is the ending point after the swap, and the price at which the swap happens is in the middle. So there is an actual difference in the price during the swap. This is what is causing the slippage and the impermanent loss. So the greater volume, the faster the point moves, and the movement of the point what is causing the impermanent loss. So what we want to do in order to reduce impermanent loss is to reduce the change of the price. Now, the price is not actually defined as where the point is, rather is defined as the derivative, but we are going really deep into the math this way. What we want to do is to keep the derivative as stable as possible.
Flat. You want a flat line?
Yes.
Instead of a curved line.
Yeah. So a flat line has its own issue, which would be a straight line, also, which would drain the pool very quickly. So what the stable invariant is doing is staying as close as possible to the flat line especially when the quantity of the two tokens are equilibrated. But as soon as we have a lot of one token, which is really not equilibrated in the pool with the quantity, the formula quickly turns out to the Uniswap one. So by being transformed, we are going to infinite. So the price goes to infinite. So it will be infinitely harder to drain the pool, which is the issue. So yeah, it is basically it try to stay as close as possible to one, but if it is unbalanced, then it turns back to the old formula so that it cannot be drained.
For the end user, why does this matter? And why would you put yourself at risk of impermanent loss? Is because when you provide liquidity to these pools, you actually get the transaction fees. And so the reason that you'd want to do it with stablecoins is because then you reduce the amount of impermanent loss that you can suffer while capturing the transaction fees. And so what will happen is a stable to stable liquidity pool will also have lower transaction fees per person because they're more desirable, but it'll give you a safer place to store your money and actually earn something on it. So that's the overall reason for it.
Beautiful. Thank you for that explanation as well. It makes a little bit more sense in regards to how that all works. So in terms of how the project's going at the moment, it seems like everything on testnet is looking good. You've got the batcher system all up and running on testnet. People are interacting with it, and there's a lot of transactions going through. You also have your FISO, your fair initial stake offering. You have your NFTs going on as well. There's a lot going on here. Can we get a quick recap and understand where everything is at the moment?
Yeah, for sure. So yeah, real quick, as you said, our testnet was live for a few weeks, and it was incredibly successful. And the developers did a wonderful job. I think we had almost 5,000 users and well over 400,000 transactions, and everything went relatively very smoothly for the most part. The next step now is Michelle is finishing up the yield farming contracts, and we're going to then deploy those to testnet and then do another round of an incentivized testnet to get people on it and make sure everything's working smoothly. And then we have an audit lined up in addition to a public bug bounty. And then after those are sufficiently complete, we're going to get ready to launch mainnet. Additionally, like you said, we have our FISO and our INO. I think our FISO, it's either just ended or is about to end, but maybe we can link some articles in terms of how all that worked. But the main thing going on right now is the initial NFT offering, where it's really the first chance for the people that believe in our mission and want to support our protocol to become holders of the project. So basically the way that it works is you can mint these NFTs, and these NFTs come with Teddy tokens, and it comes with other bonuses as well, such as a FISO bonus, our liquidity bootstrapping event bonus, providing liquidity bonus, and also a bonus if you're participating in our testnet. But probably one of the important things to consider for our INO is that all of the tokens from the unsold NFTs will be put into a pool, and those will be distributed to NFT holders. So essentially, the more NFT tokens that you hold, the more of that share of pools you'll be able to get. I think at the time of this video, each NFT is earning about just over 15,000 Teddy per NFT tokens, and that goes until April 8th. You recently talked about, Ardana. They were a project in our ecosystem. I think someone had told me they raised like somewhere near $10 million, and so far we've been able to achieve a lot of our milestones with, I think, almost like 100th of that amount of funding. So yeah,
That's incredible.
Yeah, but I don't say that to boast at all. I do think we have an excellent developer team. Quite honestly, one of the best that I've come across, and we're very grateful to all be able to work together. But the main thing is that if you believe in our project and what we're trying to accomplish, please take a look at our initial NFT offering, and that's going to help us continue to pay for our development, all of the audits that we want to get, and hopefully have a very successful project here on Cardano.
All right, 2 last questions for you guys. First off, where we can find out more information about the FISO before it ends, the tokens, the NFTs, and everything else about the DEX.
Probably the website is the best place to start. Most of the things are linked from there. You can check out the docs at docs.teddyswap.org. You can find links to Discord and Telegram. We've got an active team, community managers there, and the devs drop in from time to time. Yeah, come join us. Check out the website. There's also a FISO website. There's a dashboard that goes over how much you're earning, including how much bonus you're capturing from the NFTs. And there's a few other things, I believe. Did I cover everything, Frosty, or is there more? I'm trying to remember.
Yeah, I think you're right. I think pretty much everything is available on the website. On the Twitter, we also have our link tree on there that sort of congregates all of the different TeddySwap related things. And the INO website is TBC, as in Teddy Bears Club, tbc.teddyswap.org. And aside from that, I think you covered everything, Marty.
All right, I'll grab the links to the off the Twitter profile to the link tree, and I think that will help everyone find all the important places to go to follow the project. And now, my final question: what's with the name? Well, who chose TeddySwap? Because the community is a bit like, whoa, what a weird name is this? It's a bit strange, and so it's a bit of a mixed reviews from what I've seen with the name of the DEX itself. So who came up with the name? What's the backstory?
The name is a culmination of brilliant minds that came together and tried to pick the cutest animal possible. But yeah, I mean, the name, I think it's cute, hopefully memorable. Also, Teddy rhymes with steady, which is sort of like, stability and the stable coin. And also, a teddy bear, TeddySwap was launched in the depths of a bear market. And, it's sort of our way of saying that there's no reason to be scared of the bear market. And regardless, you can take the bear market and turn it into something really good, hopefully. And that's what we're trying to do here at TeddySwap. So that's sort of the reason behind the name.
All right, that's a brilliant backstory. Thanks for that. All right, guys, awesome. Thank you so much for joining me on this podcast interview. It's been a pleasure learning a little bit more about TeddySwap and everything that you guys have going on. Good luck with the Teddy Bear Club token sale, and hopefully we see the next incentivized testnet and launch on mainnet very soon.
Yeah, gotta do it like that. You've been listening to the Learn Cardano podcast. Gotta get it hype. Crypto is what we like, but this is not investment or financial advice. Gotta do your research, cause it's risky. We know it is. This show is educational and it's informative. Crypto's the future, really, it ain't no debate.